Alrighty, guys. So, Sons of the Forest is one of my most anticipated games for this year. Myself and my two good friends, Chase and Martin, or Rumkey and Spanking Cheeks, we played through the first one, and it was like one of my greatest gaming memories ever. Was playing through that whole first game with them too. So, three of us have really been looking forward to Sons of the Forest. Supposedly, it's coming out next month. And 2 days ago, IGN actually uploaded a exclusive hands-on preview. It's about 8 minutes long. I'm gonna watch it, react to it, and yeah, just because I've really been looking forward to this game, I just want to see more of it at all, to be honest. So yeah, get into it. So hopefully, my face isn't in the way here.
Unlike some of its peers, The Forest, the survival horror game from Canadian-based studio Endnight Games, delivered on not just the popular gather and craft survival game format, but also added a surprisingly complex and equally bananas story featuring cannibals and mutants.
I don't know
With
if
the
this is too
immediate
loud.
arrival
I
of
don't
its
think so.
long-awaited sequel, Sons of the Forest, comes not only the pressure
Turn
to
it down
top
a
the
little
beloved
bit.
experience of the original, but also to add some new and increasingly wild surprises.
Whoa.
And based on the 5 hours that I've played so
Ew.
far, I'm not only excited about the sequel's potential, but also confident that
Look at the
Endnight can
graphics.
revolutionize the survival genre.
Okay, I actually wasn't expecting like a voiceover. I thought it was just raw gameplay.
The Forest begins with a simple premise. You've crash-landed on a mysterious peninsula and begin your quest to survive at all costs. There was also the optional objective of finding your kidnapped son, a task that would take you down a wild and disturbing narrative rabbit hole populated
this is the
by
first game.
flesh-hungry mutants. Sons of the Forest largely shares the same setup, substituting your son for a missing billionaire. It's a basic idea, but one that allows
Missing
you to jump
billionaire?
straight into the action, allowing players who have no intention of progressing the rescue mission to solely focus on building their very
Dude,
own
look at
lakeside
it. Looks
resort
so
with
much
friends
better than the
right
first
away.
game.
Just like its predecessor, you
I'ma
can
turn it
play,
down some
build,
more. I think
and
I'm-
cause chaos with 7 of your friends in co-op, but you can still see everything Sons of the Forest has to offer.
Might have been
in
a little
single
too
player.
loud
The big
earlier.
difference
So is this
that solo
multiplayer
players,
already?
Even when you play solo, you're not alone. Enter Calvin.
Oh.
At the very start of Sons of the Forest, you're introduced to Calvin, an elite soldier who not only survived the helicopter crash that stranded you on the island, but is also very much along for the survival.
Is he deaf and blind?
Companion. While Calvin has suffered some major head trauma that's left him unable to speak, his injuries have not, perhaps surprisingly, prevented him from being extremely helpful. In an apparent effort to replicate the
So you get an AI companion.
solo players, Calvin will follow you around and respond to commands issued by a bunch of handy quick select options on a notepad. He'll take orders to see out your less than desirable busy work, such as chopping down trees. And
I wonder if you still
gathering
get him if you're playing with friends. I also wonder if he's just gonna be annoying.
The value of having an AI companion was immensely noticeable. There was a huge benefit to sending Calvin off to find resources, while my co-op partner and I focused on designing our structure. I'd regularly turn around to
Co-op
find
partner.
fresh
So yeah,
content
he's just there,
frozen,
no matter
with
what.
Calvin already on his merry way to collect more. Not only will Calvin somewhat provide company for solo players, but he offers helpful, time-saving resources even when in a group, putting a significant dent in the busy work of a survival game. This affords more time to either sculpt a masterpiece or plow forward on the cannibal killing quest. Calvin has a mind of his own though, well, at least to some degree. He sits down to rest when he gets tired and seeks water when he's thirsty. He'll also become upset if you treat him poorly, which makes him less productive and thus decreases the value as a
Can you just kill him?
And if you decide you're not interested in having a worker bee along for the ride, you have the option to disable Calvin in the most realistic way possible. Shoot him in
I'm
the
sick.
head, and you'll remove him from your session permanently. You're limited to 1 Calvin per multiplayer session, so the dream of a legion of Calvins can't be fulfilled. But the developers assured me that there are other companions you can find as you progress,
Oh.
each with their own unique AI. During my playtime, I caught a glimpse
Wow.
of Virginia, a mutant with 3 arms and 3 legs. She quickly scalpered once I approached her, and definitely had more of a skittish sensibility than Calvin. But the developers told me that she
Yeah,
would
this is
eventually be recruited, and
One of
would be
your
attached to
yeah.
you.
She was in the trailer. Yeah, right there with the shotty.
They compared her instincts to that of an elusive and independent cat, which stands in opposition to Calvin's lovable.
It's kind of bad, bro.
The AI
3 legs or not.
aren't limited to just companions though. On our expedition we came across several groups of enemies, ranging from a cluster of cannibals to a mob of monstrosities, each demonstrating their own impressive decision-making abilities.
This looks
Felt
so
like my enemies were
complex,
thinking
like
and making
the
active
enemies
decisions
types
based
and
on
the AI
their
and stuff.
but also their situations and
Even just the
environment.
fact that you have
Because
Calvin that
in
he
first-person
like
horror
does stuff
games,
by himself
you
is
generally
crazy.
have 2 modes of behavior: patrol and attack. But in Sons of the Forest, some foes would just be extremely wary and just interested in watching what I do, while others would charge in aggressively, only to back down when things didn't go their way. I saw enemies consoling their fallen friends, changing their clothes depending on the weather conditions, and even trying to destroy my newly erected home when my back was turned. It was clear to see that the enemy's brains were not only following coded rules, but also adapting their thoughts based on the external influences. The developers explained to me that certain enemies with leadership qualities can influence the decisions of others.
He just tanked that shit.
Such as religion, and that each individual has their own tastes, desires.
Shit, this one's tanking bullets, boy. I'm not really listening to what this guy's saying, to be honest.
Of Sons of the Forest, I didn't really get a sense of how deep this system is and how much it'll affect your experience.
Butterfly on your
I
axe.
saw filled my mind with dozens of possibilities. I saw enemies adapting to changing their ecosystem and weather conditions, which now cycle through seasons that change as you progress. I even accidentally triggered a war after I stupidly opened the entrance to the game's complex underground cave network and released a faction of mutants into the domain of another tribe. My
What?
simple decision caused their living space to change and encouraging them to adjust their focus. And after that little taste of chaos, I can't wait to see how flexible this system
That's
will be. As
crazy.
you'd expect, the titular forest makes a return, and it looks better than ever. From the complex
Yeah,
details
graphically,
to
this shit
the
looks
gorgeous
insane.
rainfall and beautifully lit cave stalactites amongst the hanging corpses and mutant fetuses, the graphical power on show here rivals the majority of AAA releases. It was a joy to explore without even the slightest hint of repetition in its design. With a tease of
I wonder how good it's gonna run, though.
God knows what else in a
I
world,
played the original on PS4. There's no way that this is on PS4.
getting lost and then sidetracked in the wilderness.
I'll probably play this one on PC, and either way, but
Sons of the Forest is a survival game, and so when you're not exploring, there's a good chance you're building. The construction tools have been significantly overhauled for the sequel. Are the floating blue ghost building blocks replaced by user-friendly, realistic presentation of wilderness carpentry. Instructions are more literal, and actions are contextual. Instead of just loading resources into a ghost version of the final product, you're now free to, with magnetic and snapping assistance, manually place logs and sticks in the direction that you'd like, allowing for a complete customization of your structure instead of following a predetermined design. My partner, Calvin, and I immediately set to work on building a lakeside domicile of our own, and what began as a traditional design immediately blossomed when we
get the
realized
footage
that
just
many
kind of just
limitations
repeating here,
of
but
our imagination. You're working on every placement by hand,
Oh,
and thus
the
the
hell was that?
structural points present not only a decision, but an opportunity for expression. I was informed that the option of
A
the more
reflective
traditional
cloth?
blueprint builds is still there for the purists, but I found the DIY construction far more appealing than the IKEA approach. Then, of course, there's the optional story to follow. From the teasers in the trailers, this is implied to be bigger and perhaps even crazier than the original, and hopefully continues directly on from the Forest's cliffhanger. But amongst the time spent constructing and fighting off hordes of cannibals, I didn't really get a sense of how the story was going to go beyond the initial premise. It did feel very familiar to the story of the Forest though, which I guess makes sense in the term of dropping players right into the action. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't have concerns that it could potentially retread old ground. My hope is this simply serves as a jumping off point to go in some truly crazy directions, and it develops a narrative through line for the first game that still feels cohesive. But time will tell once I get my hands on the full game and manage to pull myself away from building a replica of the Ewok village and destroying the lives of the unsuspecting locals. Sons of the Forest appears to evolve and build on every
dude, this looks awesome, man. I'm not even saying much.
and developing a flexible ecosystem, and it feels like the building
Sick.
blocks are there to create something truly special. But its killer feature is the addition of impressively sophisticated and smarter AI enemies and companions.
Yeah, that's what I'm most
Provide a huge leap forward
curious about,
experience,
is just
but
how in
also
depth
genre.
the AI or the enemies are. Like, not even for Calvin, like whatever with Calvin, but
And if you
like,
like
how
that
different
video
will
and
the
wanna
AI
find more
really
about Sons
be?
of the Forest, why not
That's
check out
wild.
the
I'm gonna go
video
back through this a little
so
bit.
far. Unique AI.
So there's
For an
other
example,
companions you could find. That's super interesting. This being one of them, which we've seen before. What was her name again? Virginia, right. I thought that's just what they called this. This was an enemy type though, like the three-legged woman thing in the first game, and they were just called Virginias. But maybe this is kind of going into the story of the first one. But I guess maybe this specific one is Virginia or something like that. Just look at how the craziest thing was when he said he accidentally started a war because he let one group of mutants into the, yeah, right here. He accidentally opened an underground cave with a different breed of mutants, so they went into a war together. the different factions of mutants or whatever. That's wild. I'm very much looking forward to it. Even more. I was kind of hoping that it was just gonna be raw gameplay and not like this voiceover thing. But either way, next month. What's the release date? Let me actually look it up. I know it's February. Date. February 23rd. Okay, February 23rd is the release date. At least right now. Again, maybe it gets delayed because I'm pretty sure it was supposed to come out like over a year ago initially. But with how crazy and good this is looking, I'm not even like mad at the delays, to be honest. But yeah, are you guys excited for this game? Because I know I am, and I know me and my two buddies are definitely gonna be playing this and getting through the story whenever it does come out. But yeah, just wanted to share this real quick because it's a game that I'm very much looking forward to. So yeah, see you guys in the next one.